Now, this next story is one that's we've all heard about and we all know about. That California has some of the highest gas in the country. I think only Hawaii is more expensive, but it makes sense why Hawaii's gas is so expensive. It's an island in the middle of the ocean. But California is known for its very high cost of living, including the gas. And I'm actually headed out to California here in the next few weeks, and I'm already dreading paying for the gas prices to drive around in that state. Now, on this video, they had a Chevron executive come on here and give us some corporate explanation on why the gas is so expensive in California. And let's see what he has to say.
In LA County are holding near $4.50 a gallon. That, of course, is well above the $3.14 a gallon national average. And while prices have dipped slightly, experts warn they could spike again as two major California refineries prepare to shut down. And you may have seen recent headlines suggesting experts forecasting $8 a gallon. Right now, I'm joined by Andy Walls. He is Chevron's president for downstream, midstream, and chemical. That means he essentially is in charge of everything that happens to oil after it's been pulled out of the ground. Good to see you, Andy. Thanks so much for being with me tonight.
Yeah, Marla, thanks again. It's good to see you and looking forward to the conversation.
Okay, well, let's start the conversation by showing you some video that we found today. So we sent our helicopter, Skyfox, as we call it, around town just to get some images of pricing. And we come across this gas station. It says Chevron, not even trying to play gotcha.
$7.89 a gallon. Do you guys see that? That's like Europe gas prices right there. Now, you want to get people off the road? Make gas average $7 a gallon. Hey, everybody else will figure out how to get around without their car then. Whew. What are we doing, California?
This happens to be in Chinatown in the heart of LA, and it's $7.89 a gallon, basically $8 a gallon. We've seen those headlines of late. This is already there. What's going on here?
Well, Marla, first off, these are independent business people. I certainly don't like seeing one of our retailers uncompetitive. That's not reflecting on our brand very well. Most of the Chevrons you'll see in the area will be at exactly the price you mentioned earlier, and this doesn't represent our brand very well, so apologize to that.
Okay, with that said, what is Chevron doing to lower prices?
Well, Marla, look, I think we've got to go back and talk a little bit about what's gone on over the last, call it 10 or 15, 20 years. I think what's happened in California is that policymakers have put politics in front of good energy policy. And we find ourselves in a situation where we have less supply today than we have demand in the state of California. And this is what's putting a tremendous amount of pressure on the price. It's going to potentially put pressure on reliable supply because the supply for the excess demand is going to have to come from somewhere overseas. And it's putting tremendous pressure, all the policy put tremendous pressure on refiners in the state. And that's your headline around a couple of refineries closing. Hey, that's real. That means less supply in the market. And I think it's a thing that Californians need to be focused on and concerned about.
So those two refineries, it's a Phillips 66 in Wilmington. That's set to close by the end of this year. And then one up in the Bay Area, Valero in the East Bay, set to close by the end of 2026. That accounts, so there's the Phillips 76 nearby in Wilmington. These account for about 20% of our supply. So this will go up. This will theoretically increase the price, to your point about supply and demand. Chevron has moved its headquarters from San Ramon to Texas, where you join us live tonight. Are there plans to close the Chevron refinery in El Segundo?
Yeah, look, Marla, we don't have plans to close. We've been in California for over 140 years. We are proud of what we've done in California, but I think it's becoming quite acute. If we will have decisions that we will have to make going forward, and I am urging the regulators and state politicians to really think carefully about how they try to maintain reliable suppliers like Chevron. We are at a bit of a tipping point. You mentioned 20%.
So, first thing that's already happening, they lost or they're losing a major refinery, so that's 20% less supply for California. Then two, yet another headquarters has moved from California to Texas. California, what are we doing? What are we doing in California? such a beautiful state, but some of these policies are out of control. Let's see what else he has to explain here to close out the video.
Capacity comes offline. I'm not going to predict the future on pricing, but I can assure you with lower supply and still robust demand, I think California's playing a very dangerous game with refineries.
You just mentioned California legislators are Democratic lawmakers. We know we have a Democratic supermajority in the state. Is Chevron, are you actively in touch with lawmakers to try and have this conversation?
Yeah, we are. I mean, look, secure and reliable energy doesn't have a political affiliation. Democrats, Republicans, and voters in California want lower prices, and they want to have a surety of long-term reliable supply. We are talking to the regulator. We are talking to the Energy Commission. We do hear a little bit more conversations coming out of Sacramento about this, that they're prioritizing it. But, talk, Marla, it doesn't do a lot. We need real action. We need real changes in the way things are done in the state of California for it to make a difference. And for Chevron to be interested in putting more money in and investing in the future of El Segundo and our Richmond refinery.
We're out of time. What's your message to California voters?
Yeah, look, I'm glad you took some time with us. This is an important issue. I'm glad you're asking. Reliable and affordable energy is something we take for granted. And I think it needs to have policies that support that so that companies like Chevron can keep investing and stay in California.
All right.
Well, unfortunately, I don't see the gas prices going down in California. If anything, they're going to go up. And that's just part of the cost of living in California. Because in the state, what's the incentive? What's the incentive to lower the prices? The politicians in power in California are going to stay in power anyway. So, unless the voters vote for some type of change, I don't see things changing in California. As far as gas prices, you just got to suck it up and pay. Or move to Texas.